Alright, so we are doing more factoring today. But this is harder factoring. My finger work, that would be helpful. Factoring. And I'll just give a basic layout. I don't know why that keeps on doing this weird things being used. Factoring. Well, we're going to have something like ax squared plus bx plus c. What we did last week, just so you know the difference, we did something like ax squared or x squared plus bx plus c. Basically, we didn't have anything in front of the x. So now we have something in front of the x squared. So we have this little a right here. So before we get to it, let's recall a few different things. Because I saw at the beginning of class when we were reviewing, some of you tried factoring a little bit different way. And it's not necessarily wrong to start there. Well, let's say I have 5x cubed minus 15x squared plus 10x. And I tell you, well, to factor that thing, the first step of all factoring is how we started the factoring, which is take out the common monomial. So we look at all our terms and ask, what could I divide all those terms by? What could I divide them all by? 5x, which is going to leave what on the inside?
It'll leave a x squared
Then
minus 3x
then
plus 2.
Okay. So that's the first step. Then the second step. Try to factor the remaining part. Well, what's the remaining part? All this stuff. Okay, so I have my 5x just kind of hanging out there. I already did it. I'm going to try to factor that thing on the inside there. Can I factor? It's not always possible, but I need to try. So if it's possible, I would have x and x. Anyone have a question why I have that? Then if it's possible, I only have two factors of 2, 1 and 2. This is a positive, which means these are either both positive or both negative. Since this is a negative 3, negative. Now I quickly do my check. Negative x, negative 2x gives me negative 3x, so I'm good. That would be our answer. So the first step of all factoring questions is look and see if there's something in common that I can pull out first. So that's the first thing that you need to check no matter what. Now for the most part for now, you don't need to worry about that, but at the end of the chapter you do. Okay, now we're going to go on. Now we're going to factor something like this, where we're going to have something in front of this x squared. Like maybe we have something like this. And I'm going to do that first step of factoring. I'm going to look and say, is there anything I can factor out of all of these? And the answer is no. I have a 2 maybe, but 15 and 7 aren't divisible by 2. I might think n, but this 7 doesn't have an n, so there's nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this. It's not always possible. I'm going to have to figure out each of these things. And I'm going to figure out the first thing. Well, I need a 2n squared. You with me? So I need two things in the front that are going to multiply to give me 2n squared. And Ryan says
2 times 1.
2 times 1. So 2n and n. Because 2n times n gives me 2n squared. Okay, now I need factors of 7, whose sum is 15. But we need to remember, I'm going to multiply one of them by this 2. Okay, so let's see what happens. Don't write this down. I'm just going to test a few things. Let's say I did this. Okay? When I check, notice this middle term gives me 7n, and this middle term gives me 2n, and if I add them, I get 9. Is that the 15? No. Okay, so that guess is incorrect. So luckily I only have one other option, 1 and 7 here. I test that, n and 14n, and when I add them I get 15n, boom, and right here I have 7, so plus and plus. You see how I got that? Okay, go ahead and write that one down.
So it matters now when you put the...
Oh yeah, it does matter. And it will, because one of them is going to be multiplied. Yes? Yeah, you wrote on yourself, I can see that. Okay, Rachel wrote on you. How about you take care of that?
Can the student get written up for that?
Are you trying to get your girlfriend in trouble?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay. Anyways, let's try this one.
Stone.
These are exceedingly tricky, okay? So now, what we did before, we thought just factors of 11, 1 and 11, but now we also have factors of 6 we need to worry about. 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. So here's a hint. Start with the ones closest together. If nothing works, then you go to the ones that are further apart. You should be writing this down, Austin. All right, so that gives me two possibilities. I could have x and 6x, or I could have 2x and 3x. Now, according to this hint, I'm going to start down here. And if I can't get anything to work, then I back up. You have to check your work. If you decide to be a lazy bum, you are going to get a lot of these wrong. And that's not necessary if you check. All right, so I need a 25. You with me?
Yeah.
All right, so let's test. Let's try 11 and 1. When I do the middle, I get 33x. And when I do the outer, I get 2x. When I combine those, I get 35x. That does not seem to be close, right?
No.
Okay, so what might I do next?
Flip it.
Flip it around. So maybe the 1 is right here and the 11 is right there. So I test the middle, I get 3x. I test the outer, I get 22x. Can I add and subtract them to get 25?
Actually, you can.
Yes, I can. I can add them. So if they're both positive, I get my 25. So I'll put my positives, and that worked out. So that's our answer. Okay? Who is lost? Completely no idea what we are doing. You got one? All right. Let's back up a little bit. Let's do one like was in your homework on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we factor this? Let's think about all the steps that we did to factor it. First, we need to get our x squared. And with our homework last week, there was only one way to get that x squared. X times x. You with me? Okay, so basically they all started that way. And then we had 24 we need to get. And we could get that by 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Now, which of those could I combine to give me the 11? The 3 and the 8. So I try 3 and 8. Okay, we should be writing this down. All right, so then we needed to test, so we do 3x and 8x, and I could add those two to give me 11x, so I know these are both plus. Who's good? Raise your hand if you're good. You understood what we just did right there. Good, 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 good. I got it almost unanimous. All right, let's try one that's from today. And let's note the difference. Let's do, this would be a really hard one. 24x squared plus 10x minus 6. Now, what was the first step of factoring that I told you at the beginning of class? The first thing I need to check.
Do that. The common thing.
Is there anything in common of all of these that I can take out first?
2.
A 2. So I'm going to divide all those by 2. I always want to check that first. Okay, so I divided them all by 2. Raise your hand if you understood what I just did. So we're all good. Don't forget to check that, because that could lead, if you don't do that, that will lead you down the wrong path. Now, unlike this one from the other way, turn around, Trey, from last week, unlike this one, there are lots of ways to get this 12, right? I could have 1 and 12, I could have 2 and 6, I could have 3 and 4. So that's going to give me 3 possibilities, right? These are my 3 possibilities. Which is why I've told you repeatedly, you need to check. I could have x and 12x. When I multiply those, do I get 12x squared?
Yes.
Okay. I could have 2x and 6x. When I multiply those, I get 12x squared. And I have 3x and 4x. Now the hint I gave you from back here says start with the ones that are closest together. That's not a guarantee, but I'll start with 3x and 4x. I'll try that possibility first. Okay? Now I look at the 3. What are my factors of 3? 1 and 3. Luckily, I only have one pair that are possible. So I'll try it. I'll try 1 and 3 like this. That gives me 4x and 9x. Could I combine those somehow to give me 5x?
Yes.
Yes, actually I could. That was a very good guess. That was a, ironically, very good guess. If I did minus 4 and plus 9, right? That gives me 5. So the question is, where does that minus go? Well, that's going to need to go here, because negative 1 times 4, and the plus will go on to 3, because 3x plus, or times 3 gives me 9x. So that is our answer. So I didn't actually mean to guess right away. It just happened I did. Usually we don't. And that's why you check. Now there is a reason why I didn't do, and this is actually kind of why I probably would just landed on the answer, is if you have done that first step of factoring out the common thing, I can eliminate this possibility right away. The 3 going first. Here's why. I want you to see why I can eliminate that possibility. And then only half of you are watching. Is there something in common I could factor out?
Yeah.
Yes. So that tells me right away this possibility probably is not the case. Okay, so that's why I skipped over it. All right, let's try another one. Okay, what do I need to check first?
You need like.
Is there something in common I can factor out of all of them?
Yes.
Yes, a 5. So I do that first. What does that leave on the inside?
5x squared minus 2x minus 3.
Okay. All right. Now, luckily, there's only one possibility to get that 5 there. What is that possibility? 1 and 5. So I have x and 5x. Any questions there? Now, see, there's a lot of extra checking today. So there's only one way to get 3, right? 1 and 3. So I could have 1 and 3 like this. Let's try that. I get a 5 right here. And a 3x here. Could I combine those somehow to get a 2?
No.
Negative 5 and a... Okay, so where would I put the negative? On the 1 or on the 3?
On the 1.
On the 1, and the positive on the 3. Alright, so I'm tired of guessing right all the time. So let's purposely guess wrong.
That's how you know.
Maybe I do 3 and 1 like this. That's actually what I was thinking of at first, and then like, nah, that's probably right. So I was just wrong. All right, so let's see. When I check here, I get 15x, right? And when I check right here, I get x. Can I combine those somehow to get a 2? No. I mean, if I subtract, I get a 14, and if I add, I get a 16. So that's nowhere close to that 2. So this is my answer. Let's do just one more. Just one. And then you are going to do lots of practices.
On my board.
Yep, on your whiteboards.
And should we do your homework?
Yes, you'll also do your homework. All right, you walk me through it.
Trying to find it.
7.
7.
Okay, so the common thing is 7.
I forgot why 2.
Thank you. Yep, that is important to have there. All right. Walk me through it. Someone else. Trey.
Factor.
Well, very good. Yes, the directions say to factor. So let's be more specific.
When we have a parenthesis.
Yeah, we need 2 parentheses. All right.
Yeah. 3. Yeah. 1.
Yep, that's our only possibility to get that 3y squared. Raise your hand if you understand what we just did there. Raise your hand if you do not understand what we just did there. I see no hands. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay. Now what?
Minus.
Oh, you're jumping to
Oh, no.
the... I would do the signs last.
The
Have you noticed that? I figure out the signs
They're
last.
both gonna be minuses anyways.
They are going to be both minuses. Okay, you got me. They have to be both minuses because this is a plus, so a negative times negative gives me a plus. That's a negative.
And now
So
and put the 7 on first and then 1 on the next.
Trey says like that. All right, let's check it. Negative 7y and negative 3y combine and give me negative 10y. Raise your hand if you understand how he got that. Okay, good. All right, put away your notes.